And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP. Tim, it is always a pleasure to have you here on the program. You and your firm, TJ Stearns Inc., helping so many Chicagoland area savers and investors understand the strategies, the investments, the type of accounts, and the way to set them up in order to make the transition into and make it through retirement confidently. So thank you for being here once again. We appreciate the time and all of the knowledge that you share with those proactive planners.
Well, Peter, thanks for having me. I'm looking to dive into some information today that will make people better investors out there and better planners for their retirement.
Yeah. And Tim, a lot of times around this time of year, maybe we're getting a little past the year in review at this point in time, but we're going to put a different angle on it. We're going to do the year in preview. And so oftentimes we hear the statement, it is what it is, and we got to be relegated with just satisfied with where we are in life. But if we plan proactively, we can improve the financial future in our personal lives, in our financial lives. We do this as well. We sort of look back at things, especially this time of year when it's tax season, right? That's historical in nature. But you, your firm, your job, what you help people accomplish is looking ahead in previewing things. So rather than the year in review, we're going to do the year in preview, and we're going to talk about some of those proactive strategies that we can gain knowledge from history, but use it to our advantage moving forward. So a lot to be talked about the year ahead, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got our list of topics that we will be covering in the year ahead. We'll talk about some of those and why they're important. But we will gain knowledge from certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns in the effort to help you in your planning all year long. And of course, each and every episode here on Protect and Grow. And if you've got questions about your planning, about how to be proactive, about how to get more from your investment accounts and your retirement accounts, pick up the phone and request the time to speak with Tim Stearns for that complimentary review, that Protect and Grow retirement planning strategy session. All you need to do is call 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, in the effort of being proactive, you got to jump on it. And we've got a list of some of the topics that we will be covering in the year to come. A lot of really important topics when it comes to your financial well-being. But if you would, I guess, back up before we get into the things that we'll be covering in the year ahead, talk to us about how so many of us are sort of historians in nature when it comes to our finances, and why we do need to be more proactive and forward thinking.
Well, I think that's been the way of the world for, my whole career is people have been looking backwards, and I think as you get into retirement, you almost need to look forward, so much so that you might go 10, 20, even 30 years down the road. And what I mean by that is by having a plan. A lot of people come in here and they shoulda, coulda, woulda on different things. Well, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. Mitigating taxes, planning out where your income's coming from, knowing that the market will retract on us. It will get bearish. How are we going to pay the bills then? Like 2022 was a little bit of a cold water on your face, saying, hey, the market doesn't always go up. The portfolios we're seeing come in here are down negative 20% from 2022. Last year, I keep hearing from people from the radio show, from our classes, our workshops, well, I'm about where I was going into 2022. That doesn't work for me. Why not get into better programs that, you're not going to lose your hard-earned money, especially when you're in retirement. You're not filling that bucket back up by your earnings. You are filling that back up by the portfolio going up in value. And if it's not doing that, well, guess what? You're a net asset seller, and you're losing money besides the money that got lost in the market.
Yeah. Looking back, Tim, I mean, the markets did have a pretty great 2023. With the NASDAQ leading the way of all of the major market indices. But the year prior, 2022, the NASDAQ had the worst of the comparable indices, and everything sort of in the market is kind of back about where it was. It just took us 2 years to make that round trip. Now, as we are getting ready for retirement, now switching and looking forward, we can't have another 2-year period where all we do is go down and come back up, or where we tread water for 2 more years when we should be making forward progress. And that's what I think you talk with your clients about, is how to make sure that we are making that forward progress, first and foremost by having that protect and grow plan in place.
Well, Peter, I'll go one step further, and it starts with our book. And our book really covers and delves into these areas that people, might even get uncomfortable talking about, but we are uncovering and trying to solve the modern retirement riddle. And so what I would like to do is, with that book, get it out to the first 10 callers that have over $500,000 worth of retirement assets that want to talk to us, and get a book into their hands that's going to help them get through a retirement successfully.
Well, if you would like a copy of that book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, act now, pick up the phone, give a call, get a copy in your hands. It does talk about many of the challenges that current retirees, this generation of retirees, is facing, and why we're not getting great solutions, even though they exist. Why are these questions and concerns so prevalent when there are ways to address them? That is what Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle is all about. If you'd like a copy, pick up the phone, give a call now, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And sorry, Tim, I spoke over you. I was excited about getting that book in people's hands.
And I was just going to say that I think the book really helps people solve that retirement riddle. I think most people are either scared, cautious, anxious, all the different things that you shouldn't be going into retirement. It's time to enjoy yourself. But by enjoying yourself, you're going to need to have a plan. And that plan has to incorporate everything that goes into retirement. And the book covers that.
Yep. And by having that plan, you will be proactive in looking ahead. So again, the number 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. But as we are talking about looking ahead in the year in preview, we've got a number of important topics that we will be covering. We've got a year calendar for this program laid out in front of us. Now, Tim, I'm sure that there will be some unexpected surprises as the year unfolds. There may be some current events or some pressing issues where we skip over one or two of these topics and cover things that are of the moment importance. But the year ahead, we've got some things that we sort of can get a glimpse of the future, not exactly the outcome, but we know that the Federal Reserve has started the year saying that they intend to lower interest rates several times in 2024 in the year ahead. We know that there's a presidential election, the result of which we don't know. But we know that there is an election cycle heading straight for us, looking us right in the eyes. Those things are going to have some bearing and impact on the market and on our accounts.
Well, and the good news, Peter, with our show, as everyone knows out there, we don't do repeats. We have fresh content every week. The bottom line is we want to make sure that people understand what exactly is going on and how it's going to affect them. Some of the things that we'll be going over, though, this year that I think are always apropos for what's going on is, getting your savings back on track. We spend a lot of money on the grandkids, on our kids, for Christmas, that type of thing, like getting it back on track, right? And making sure that, you're investing in your 401k, and the pros and cons of that, because there are different things that you could be doing with 401ks, including, when we've talked about this on the show for years, the 59.5 loophole, that if I'm working for a company and I have over 59.5, in most cases, I'd say 95% of them out there, the company will allow you to do an in-service distribution to an IRA of your choice, that then you can have stop losses, dynamic investing, and get away from the mutual funds that they currently have for you.
And Tim, is the fact that most companies do allow their employees to take money out of the 401k at 59.5 while still working, while still contributing, participating, while still capturing the match, but you can actually take control of your money and do something different with it, is the reason that most companies allow that, because maybe they realize that keeping the money in the 401k may not necessarily be the best thing for that individual employee's retirement projections at that point in time?
I think most companies don't want that liability, where they're going to be sitting there going, "Oh my, if look at 2008. Let's say I was about to retire and 2008 happened, and there was no 59.5 loophole within my program. I'm down on average 36%. And I start looking around, and boy, oh boy, there's definitely a lawyer out there who will say, hey, you should have had that opportunity. So yeah, these companies are saying, yeah, it's on you. You know, if you want to take your money out and do whatever you got to do. But the thing I've seen it with my siblings, is that by taking the money out, you take control of your own future. You know, instead of being beholden to those mutual funds, you could be in other, things that have stop losses. You could go into annuities. You can do, have a plan using those monies to go into all different things that are uncorrelated. Because most of the time, I'm seeing most of these funds are correlated to the market. They're all across the board will be negative except for the money market account.
Yeah, meaning the direction of the market indicates and determines the direction of that fund's values, and therefore the value of your dollars and your investments. That's correlated. And then, Tim, there are certain asset classes, there are certain types of financial vehicles that are not correlated to the direction of the market. We probably should have a little bit of both, right?
Absolutely. I ask people in class, the commercials that we're seeing nowadays, what's in your wallet? Well, what's in your portfolio? And like I said, I'd say most people that come to see us, their portfolio with the little bit of cash that they have being the exception is all correlated to the markets. Bonds were down in 2022, so were stocks, and you got to have something that's going to balance that out, especially if you're getting older and you're in retirement.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to have a specific conversation with a certified financial planning professional about your money, about your investments, about your retirement planning, being proactive, looking ahead, not just the year in preview, but the years in preview and in plan, in writing, pick up the phone and give a call to Tim Stearns, CFP, and his firm, TJ Stearns, Inc. They are qualified, experienced professionals here to help and assist proactive Chicagoland area savers and investors formulate, execute, continue to monitor, and update those plans on an ongoing basis. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Now, we have seen similar plans or management of investments, even just the simple kind of conversation and consultation cost hundreds, if not thousands, and for the plan, tens of thousands of dollars in some cases. Tim Stearns makes that initial conversation and the design of a written plan, the Protect and Grow plan, available to you, no cost, no obligation. Now, once you can see in writing the risks, the issues, the opportunities that are specific to your situation, you can have a further conversation about whether you'd like to work with Tim and the team to address those or to realize those opportunities, to execute on those strategies. But the plan, getting that in your hands and the conversations that will lead up to that, no cost, no obligation. So if you'd like to, again, be proactive and look at the year in preview and the years in preview by having a written plan in your hand, pick up the phone now and give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And if you would like a copy of that book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, still a few copies of that left available for listeners to the program today. So pick up the phone and give a call now. Again, that same number, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Now, as we are looking at this calendar, Tim, there are some topics that are, I will say, timely for events that we've got scheduled. Repeating mistakes is going to be our theme around Groundhog Day, kind of an ode and tip of the hat to the movie there, where Bill Murray repeats the same day over and over and over until he avoids mistakes and gets that same thing right. We certainly don't want that in our financial lives, but a lot of people do kind of repeat the same mistakes, especially when we look at the ups and downs of the market. Valentine's Day weekend, we're going to be talking about protecting your spouse, protecting your loved ones. St. Patrick's Day, right around there, we'll be talking about luck versus planning. We don't want to base our future on luck alone, but there will also be some non-timely ones, but very important. Calculating your retirement number, understanding your investment options, Roth opportunities. We have all kinds of great topics. And Tim, you also always are open to questions, concerns, suggestions of topics from the listeners. If they want to hear a topic discussed on air, you are open to that, willing to discuss those here. They will be general in nature, obviously, on the radio, but any kind of concerns that somebody has, we welcome them to give a call or get in touch with y'all through the website, tjstearns.com.
We welcome it. And that's another reason that we invite people to attend our workshops, our classes, which are all over the Chicagoland area. All you need to do is go on our website, tjstearns.com, and sign up for that. In most cases, they're free, and you can attend them via Zoom in most cases as well. But I think, knowledge is power for people. And then when you're going into retirement, there's so many questions that I see people, honing down on what exactly they need to have ready for it.
Well, Tim, what are some of the trends that you think will shape 2024, or some of the factors, or some of the things ahead? And again, I know we cannot predict things accurately or their outcome 100%, but do you think there's any overarching trends or themes that will be important for our financial progress in 2024?
Peter, the thing that I keep seeing over and over is the mistakes that I see by baby boomers who have not, in their mind, saved enough. So they're coming in here with portfolios that are way too aggressive, and they're just trying to hit the home run right before they leave, their jobs. And I don't agree with that. We are more the tortoise, slow and steady wins the race type of thing. We're not trying to hit grand slams and that thing. And I just don't think many consumers have an idea of how much risk they have out there, and that they don't realize, they don't have a lot of runway to replenish it if they lose. And that scares the heck out of me. And I see that with so many people. We'll analyze their portfolio, and either A, they don't realize it, or B, they're like, yeah, I got to make up for lost time. I put the 2, 3, 4 kids through college, and my wife and I only have X amount. So we're kind of doubling down at to me, it's at the blackjack table, and you should never gamble with your retirement. So, we'll try to get people to kind of get a reality check as to what the markets can do to you, to your own detriment, by also having other products that can do more with less money, like annuities. Annuities get a bad name from many different people, but at the end of the day, I do know that they do have a lot of power in them, to set up people with pensions that don't have them.
Tim, a couple specific things that you had noted here in addition to those factors. I mean, having too much risk, being too aggressive, certainly a theme on an individual level that we must address for our financial well-being in 2024. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to, the conversation starts with a strategy session. Tim Stearns, CFP, will do an in-depth analysis of your portfolio, talk with you, figure out your risk tolerance, as well as give you a true analysis, quantifiable with analytic data on your risk exposure. And then you can compare the two. If you'd like that, it's part of the Protect and Grow planning process. Pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. But Tim, one thing that you noted, the upcoming potential for tax law changes and taxes to increase. Now, it's not 2024. That's at the end of 2025, at least as laws are on the books. But because of that, a lot of planning to be done in 2024 and 25.
I don't think a lot of people realize the tax laws that we currently have are some of the lowest income tax brackets we've had in over 80 years. So I would tell people, if you do want to look into Roth conversions, 2024 and then 2025 is the time to do that. And that's something we are talking to our clients about. Many of them are concerned that might jump them up into a IRMA bracket where they're paying more. But I'll ask you this: would you rather let the seed grow as a crop and not be taxed on it ever again, or pay IRMA for a year? The opportunities are endless there, and that's we'll weigh it out for people. I think most people do not know with their qualified plans how much taxes they really have in there. And that tax report that we do for people really is an eye opener.
Yep. Well, a presidential election cycle, again, we don't know the outcome, but that will certainly have an impact. The possibility of falling interest rates, which the Fed has already hinted and told us that will be a theme of 2024. So there are stories that are going to determine and dictate the financial directions. They're going to dominate the headlines, ladies and gentlemen, but you've got to have a plan in place. And here's the bottom line is that if retirement is in your forecast in the near future, then yes, we look back at history and looking through periods of economic growth and market downturns, you've survived, right? You've done well over time. There have been periods of boom and bust, but there have also been good times to retire, and there have been more challenging times to retire. What do we expect the next several years to be? And Tim, either way, it's always easier if you've got a plan in place, right? Is that is the bottom line here, is that we are emphasizing the need for proactive planning to have not just a good year in preview, but good decades in preview when we are anticipating retirement and changing our situation.
Yeah, Peter, the big idea here is that if you have a plan, you need to have one that's dynamic, because life comes at you 100 miles an hour and things are changing all the time. I have a sibling, who got let go of his job earlier than he planned. So we moved his plan upwards. We reduced the amount of time he was going to be working. These dynamic plans have to be out there because, again, nothing's static in our lives. And, a presidential election, people keep saying, well, normally the last 30 presidential elections have been great for the stock market. Well, nothing's normal anymore. Right?
The last 30 have not been this one. Yeah.
Right. I would agree with that. Yes. Yeah. So that being said, that's why you need to have stop losses. You need to have a dynamic plan. You need to be able to, head on a swivel, as they say, and be able to change with the times that are coming at you.
All right, Tim, it's time for our quick hit segments. 5 questions here to end the show. How does the concept of a year in preview help us with aligning our personal financial goals?
I think it gives you food for thought. So you're looking ahead, and when you're driving, you don't sit there and look down the whole time, right? You got to look down the road and know exactly what's coming up in the different months. For example, tax season, summertime, getting back into it in the fall. Maybe you're starting to look at some Roth conversions because you know what you've made during the year. These are all things that are our part of our calendar that I think everyone should have.
Number 2, considering the emphasis on today's program of looking forward and being proactive, Tim, what steps or strategies can you help savers identify that reflect a forward-thinking financial approach?
What we're trying to get them ready for is market downturns. We were ready in 2022. 2023 is kind of an anomaly because really it was the Magnificent Seven that brought that market up. So let's not get ahead of ourselves that it was a great year. So you need to be ready with that. And then also, of course, Roth conversions.
Number 3, Tim, how can we balance learning from historical events versus having a forward future-oriented financial goal?
You need to be ready, man. And this market is giving a lot of pause to a lot of people. I think even the people who are bullish kind of have in the back of their mind that this might be a fake out. So we are ready here, and I would tell everyone, to make sure that you have stop losses, dynamic, active investing that's going to change with the times that are going to come at you 100 miles an hour.
Number 4, Tim, what is the importance of having benchmarks, milestones that help us to ensure we are taking steps ahead and working toward forward progress?
Well, we always are meeting with our clients, making sure that they know exactly where they are on their path of retirement. If they're not already there, then we're going to tell them, make sure you're doing the 401ks. And, if you have that 59.5 loophole, we're moving money all the time, but we're staying on it. You have to stay on task.
And finally, Tim, number 5, reflecting on the idea that the tax preparation, tax season is truly a financial year in review. It's looking back at last year. It is by nature historical. How can we leverage this time of year and that annual process as an opportunity to enhance our overall financial planning strategies for the future?
Well, I think you're talking about Roth conversions and looking at maybe if I'm still working, a 401k Roth opportunities, 403b Roth opportunities. because, like we've talked about, taxes are going to go up. I've never had anyone in any of our workshops say it's going to go down. So we need to be ready for it. And why not try to mitigate taxes today?
Well, now is the time to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do all need to file those tax returns. That is looking back, but let's take that knowledge, apply it to our current situation, and then look with a more proactive, forward-looking perspective at what we are doing today to help us to control and minimize taxes and keep more of our money and keep it heading in the right direction moving forward. That is the goal with Tim Stearns, CFP, and the team there at TJ Stearns Inc. for you in constructing the Protect and Grow written plan. If you would like a copy of the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, if you'd like to sit down with a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, makes his time available to you, makes the book available to callers to the program today. All you got to do is pick up the phone and give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Now, Tim, some of your strategies do work best for those who have saved and accumulated more than $1 million, but you're willing to work with anybody, talk with anybody, get them heading in the right direction. And I think that is an important factor about you and your team and the firm there at TJ Stearns as well.
We're just trying to help people. And if people need help, I don't care how much money they have. I just want to work with someone who's nice, who's eager to learn.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you meet those criteria and you want to better yourself, your position, your financial future, pick up the phone now, give a call, request the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, or the time to sit down and talk with a certified financial planning pro, Tim Stearns, CFP, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Always a pleasure, Tim. Thank you for being here on the program. Thank you for all the time that you share. And I'm looking forward to talking through all of these topics that you've got in your year-end preview laid out for us in the year ahead.
Sounds good, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.